welcome to another edition of Just Win Today Live Show, America's favorite talk show, where I'm joined by my brother Toby Heeb of the North Pim Forget About Tomorrow Mustangs, and I'm Coach David Heeb. And Toby, you know what that sound means when you hear the band play? You can only mean one thing. It's game time. And America.
Can you feel the tension in the air right now? I know I can.
I know I can. And so
I can feel it.
I can feel the tension.
Hey, different day, same time.
That's
same
right.
Same great content.
You know, we had a little issue this weekend. First of all, it was district tournament time. I wanted to be respectful to everybody who's preparing, things like that. Also, we were both on the road and kind of all over the place, so we just said, we'll come back later. And with just kind of the slingshot of momentum that the website has right now, so many people are signing up for the website, over 100 people.
If you're not, then you're missing out.
I mean, basically, if you're not, my question is, 1, do you love America? 2, are you a communist? Basically, why aren't you signing up for the site? So
get on there.
Get on there. Make it happen. Real quick about the site, a lot of people that are signing up right now, they go to read the articles or they come to listen to the podcast. My good buddy Tyler Victor, assistant coach at Columbia Battle, they're 18-6 right now. They're rolling. They're playing really well. Tyler asked me this question tonight, and you know Tyler personally.
T-Vic.
He's got a little bit of ADD, and that's okay. We love him anyway. But he said, Coach, why did you put this thing on the site where people have to be members? He said, I've got a little ADD. I click on the site, and then it says I have to be a member, and I just go do something else. And I said, Tyler, for one reason, we had over 100,000 people sign up in year one for the site.
Right.
So all these people are coming to the site. They're reading the articles. They're doing all this. It's free. But I said, for people that are just clicking and just kind of hanging out, not that we don't want you, but we really want people that are interested in what we're doing. So,
and we want you more.
Right, exactly.
We don't want you on a come-and-go basis. Like, be a part of it.
Be a part of it. Get in the huddle, bring it in here so you can hear what we're talking
about.
Come
in for the real thing.
Bring it in for the real thing. And so, basically what we're saying to America.
You listen to me closer than you've ever listened to me before.
Just listen to me closer than you've ever listened to me before.
Closer than you've ever listened.
And so what you can do is sign up for the site. You can actually create your own page on the site, your own profile page with your own background, your own picture, all that stuff. So when you log into the website, it's your stuff every day. Like it's your stuff. And
you don't gotta look at the stuff you don't want to see.
Right. And so basically, I think it's kind of cool. It's free. You're welcome. And so having said all that, we're going to dive into some district title game basketball talk here. Yeah. And, this is the best time of the year. There's an article that came out today called The Best Teams Aren't Supposed to Go to State, where we had a talk with I talked with one of the MSHA executives years ago. This is probably about 5 years ago, when we kicked around the idea for how to fix the state tournament, which is another article that's on the website right now called Fixing the State Basketball Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
When I originally floated this idea to MSHA about 5 years ago, one of the executives, I won't say his name, I will say this is a person I really like a lot. I have a great relationship with this person. This is not his opinion. This is not the opinion of MSHA. It's just a fact that the state tournament is basically historically set up to bring regional champions to one location so you can have a Final Four from 4 different regional champions. It's set up that way because of tradition, because of history, because of bad transportation back in the 20s and 30s and World War II and the Great Depression and all that stuff. So my thing is we're obviously not living in those times now. Can we look at maybe bringing the best 4, the best 8 teams to the final weekend? And this person said to me, that state tournament's not designed that way. And he explained it to me. And again, this was not his opinion. It's just a fact. So this article's on a website, Fixing the State Basketball Tournaments on a website. A lot of people are coming to the website right now to read these things, and they're signing up, becoming members, and we welcome you to the revolution. But at the same time, we are talking about over on the forum the district basketball games. And so I know you had a chance to look at that. What do you think so far?
About the forum or just what we got coming up?
Just what we got coming up.
Because, first of all, the forum's awesome.
It's awesome.
Get on there and talk about it. You can get on there from your phone at the ball game and just start talking about the ball game you're on, and somebody else is going to get on there and talk about a different game, or so that's a great little setup there. I've looked, or I know more closely about just class, talking about 1, 2, and 3 here playing for district title tomorrow. Districts 1 and 2 for all those classes, and so far my picks from before district started can still hold true. I picked Risco and Advance to win their districts in Class 1. I picked Bernie and Orion to win their districts in Class 2. And then I picked Charleston and Saxony to win their districts in Class 3. And all those schools are playing for the championship game. I think there are going to be some interesting matchups. Maybe just 1 or 2 blowouts, or, like a 10 or a 15-point type of game. All these other games, I think there could be some close ball games. There's going to be
some great games. And I'm going to go through the Class 1 first. And
okay.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Risco, our good friend, Coach Brandon Blankenship, who is JWT approved. He's a friend of the program. They've made the district finals again. What Brandon's done with that program down at Risco, he's done an amazing job. One of the best coaches in that part of the state, and I would argue he's one of the best coaches in the state, period.
For sure.
Brandon's done a great job, and they lost one of their starters to what people are saying, and I don't know that this is true, but maybe a torn calf muscle.
Right.
I hope the kid's okay. I hope he gets to play in the district finals, but
the newspaper listing is questionable.
So I hope he gets to play, but that's a tough blow.
Congratulations.
And it's
the same thing about the kid. He's such a great kid. Just from getting to coach against him for
really
a couple
is.
of years, he's
Great
really
attitude.
quiet, carries himself well. He seems like a kid that everybody wants to coach. So hopefully he gets to go back out there for his sake and for Risco's.
And so, much love to Risco. They've had a great year. We're fans of their team, their kids, their fans, their class act. Having said all that, I got to give a shout-out to the 11 wins and 17 losses Scott County Central Braves right now.
Yeah,
our
for
alma
sure.
mater, and I put this in the article today, they are channeling their inner Matt Klein right now. For those of you that don't know, Matt Klein is the head coach of Scott County Central. Back in the day, Matt Klein was the starting small forward on the 33-0 1991 state champion Scott County Central Braves, where he was dubbed the garbage man. And he was the original trash man. Dive on the floor, loose balls, was a hustler. Matt Klein's a winner. I know they've had a bad year by Scott County standards, but they just beat Delta C7 by 48. And you and I both were kind of high on Delta C7. Hey, that's a nice team.
Yeah,
they can
score for sure.
I would not have been shocked at all if Scott Central beat them, but to tell me they won by 48, those Braves right now, they know what time of year it is. And I'll just tell you this right now, you better get out there and guard my boy Landon Glick. You better get out there and guard Landon Glick because that's my boy Travis's son, and those kids are playing well right now. So tough year for the
they're
Braves.
clicking on all cylinders right now for sure.
Tough year, but hats off to them for coming on down the stretch here. And, like I said, I wouldn't have been shocked if they made the finals, but the way that they're playing right now, hats off to those kids for not throwing it in and just kind of playing out the string.
Mm-hmm.
Over in the other district, Advance is playing Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge had an upset over Delta. I think Advance is still the heavy favorite, but Delta, nice young ball team. They're going to be back. They're going to have a good team next year. But, that's Advance's district to lose for sure. We've got Eminence and South Iron. I saw this on Facebook tonight where Eminence's last 5 district championships have been over South Iron. And then within that same string, South Iron has beat them several times.
Right.
So, this is literally
like,
I'm going to say the 9th or 10th time these two teams have played for the district title in the last 12 years. It's just a every year thing. South Iron's 22-5. They've got a young bunch. They're going to be good. They're a young team. Eminence is 27-1. They're the favorite, but you can throw the records and everything else out the window when these two play. Dusty Dinkins, who we don't give a lot of love to on this program just because Dusty hasn't been on the show, but Dusty's one of the best coaches in the state. Pete McBride is one of the best coaches in the state. Both of these guys have got a Final Four under their belt. Pete has won a state title. I mean, this is going to be a great game. And when we talk about which game do you wish you could go watch, this might be the game I would pick. Not just because I think it's going to be a good game, but because it's going to be a great atmosphere. Give me some popcorn and a Coke, and let me just sit on the front row of the bleachers right there at half court and watch this one. That's going to be a great game. And then you've got Dora's JV team, who is playing in the against Bradleyville in the district finals, and the next district's over. And I'm being funny, but only a little bit, because Dora does start 4 freshmen. And so
they're very young.
They're 23-5 with 4 freshmen, one of the youngest teams in the state, and they're really good. Their point guard, the McCaney kid, is, if you can find any footage of him, please share it with us on the website. I can't find footage on him. You sent me a clip one time of him as a 7th grader, and it's unbelievable how good this kid is.
And so it's just him working out by himself, and he's going extremely hard.
It's unbelievable how good he is. I would love to see clips of him now as a freshman. So
right.
In that quarter of the state, you could have just potentially, let's say, Risco or Scott County against Advance, and then you could have Eminence against Dora, something like that. That is as tough a foursome as you're going to see in the state tournament.
Tough road to the Final Four.
Absolutely. So moving on down, you got Walnut Grove. They're the favorite in District 5. They've had a tough year, some injuries. They play a really tough schedule, but they're the defending champs. They can get hot with the best of them. And, of course, Darren Minders, we never know how to say his name.
We do, but we forgot.
We just say that for fun. But one of the great coaches in the state also. And so that's a team you better keep an eye on. District 6, there's not really a real player in that district. No offense to those teams, but none of y'all are going to beat Walnut Grove if they get out. District 7, you got Lakeland, Wabalo halfway. There's some good teams in there. Maybe one of them can give Walnut Grove a run if they get there. District 8, not a very strong district. So really, it's if Walnut Grove can get out. I'm not saying that there's not going to be a tough game along the way, but it's certainly not set up like classes or districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 as far as being tough. I'm going to come back to District 9 through 12 in just a minute, because that's my part of the state. District 13 through 16, you got Winston, 23-2. That part of the state, it's always who have you played. They've got a great record, but in 1A and 2A in that part of the state, historically, you can have a great record and then get to the Final Four and get your bell rung. And so, I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in that record. I want to see what they do after they get out of the district. Same thing goes for Worth County. They're 20-5 in the next district. And then the other 2 districts I am interested in, though. North Andrews 24-0. They were at the Final Four last year. They got beat by Advance. One of their best players, if not their best player, sprained his ankle in the first quarter, didn't play the rest of the way. And I'm telling you right now, they are physically talented. They're big. A lot of kids in that 6 foot to 6'2" to 6'5" range. They got a guard that's really good. They have every player back. So that record is not a fluke. I think that's a team you better keep an eye on. And then in District 16, how about the Jefferson Eagles with the Fighting Tim Germains?
They're
coming
back
out of District 16. They're back. Tim Germain, one of the all-time great coaches in the history of our state. I would love to see them make a run just because I know Tim personally.
Right.
Phenomenal coach. And so if they can make a run, that would be great. Of course, they'd have to get by North Andrews. So kind of circling back to my part of the state, in District 10, you've got Chamois. That's a solid team. You got Green City, 20-6 in the next district over. Green City's a team you better keep an eye on. That's a team that can maybe be a spoiler. Meadville, they made a run to the Final Four a couple years back. They're 21-5. That's a good ball team. But in my opinion, in our district, District 9, I haven't seen every team play, but the most talented team, man for man, that I've seen not only this year, but this year and last year, is Jamestown.
Yeah, you've been on them for a while. I've been
on this bandwagon for a while. I'm not saying they'll win it, but I just mean pound for pound, if you could give me a roster today and say, hey, you've got a month to get those kids ready for the state tournament, they check every box. They're big, they're deep, they can shoot, they play hard, they're good kids. Having said that, they can get beat like anybody else if, the right set of circumstances occur. we would play them if we can get out of our first round. We've got a tough first round game, but we would play them in the semifinals. Our group, Prairie Home, is the 4 seed. We've got Creed Flood, and he's as good as his name sounds. That's a kid with a lot of games. He's had some 40-point games, some 30-point games. We've got some other kids on the roster, Casson Locke, Clayton Pathon. We've got some other kids that can play. We go 6, 7, 8 deep. On the right night, because we're 8 miles apart, that's like a Bell City Advance, a Crothersville Hayti type rivalry where we're rivals, but we're all friends. It's a friendly rivalry. We know each other. On the right night, I'm telling you, our kids can beat them. On the right night, they can be beat, but just pound for pound, they are an impressive team. And if they play to their ceiling, it's going to be hard for somebody to beat them. I really believe that. Of course, we know the state tournament, you got to win 7 in a row. That's a beautiful thing about it. One of those nights, you're gonna have to win on your C game.
You're going to get cold, or you're going to have a bad quarter. You're going to have a kid out for a little while. You never know what could happen. So
that's right.
It's tough to win that many in a row, especially once it gets to the point we're in this part of the season where if you're playing those games, you really tend to focus on that next team you play maybe a little more than you do in the regular season. So teams are coming in playing you with probably a pretty advanced scouting report.
That's right.
About you.
Especially in today's day and age where so much is digital. You can get a YouTube huddle, all these things. Yeah. You can get it emailed to you. I can remember the first.
Well, I've done that just for our district game.
Right.
To get a tape sent to us via email. So it just happens like that.
I remember the first time we went to the state tournament, and this is the gospel truth, what I'm about to tell. We started to scout who we might play in the state tournament like in January, February. We thought we had a good enough team we might make a run. And, it's just fun going on a road trip and driving to watch Thayer play or driving to watch South Iron play or whoever you might play. So Matt Asher and myself and other people, Burley McIntyre, Pat Nemchek, we'd all hop in a car and we'd go watch all these games. Well, we had a pretty good scouting report on Thayer. Ronnie Cookson actually went out and did my scouting report for Thayer, and that's a pretty good scouting report when you get it from a guy who's been there as many times as Coach Cookson has. We had a pretty good scouting report on Crocker. We had some tape on them. But our semifinal game, we played Stewartsville, who's from the Kansas City side of the state, clear on the other side of the state from, southeast Missouri where we're at. Yeah. This is 2002, so there's no huddle, there's no YouTube, there's none of that stuff. So we had to get a tape. So we had a tape exchange set up, and we're kind of hem-haw back and forth trying to figure out how to get the tape. This is our first time going through it, so we had no idea how quick the turnaround was, all that good stuff. So the tape is supposed to get there on Tuesday afternoon. We're going to leave and go to Columbia to get on the bus to leave Thursday morning. So we're basically going to get this tape to watch it on Tuesday and Wednesday and try to put something together other than phone calls and what people are telling you. I mean, to be able to actually see who you're about to play. So Tuesday rolls around, the tape's not there. So I'm up in the office and I'm talking to Matt and we're looking at each other going, what do we do? Well, I don't know. So I said, I know what we're going to do. So the team's waiting on us downstairs. So I walk downstairs to the gym. They're standing on the baseline waiting. And I said, boys, I've been upstairs and I've been watching this tape of Stewartsville for about the last hour. Of course, we didn't have the tape.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to tell you right now, they're so big and they're so strong. If they get the ball inside, we have no chance. The only chance we got is to crank this press up as hard as it'll go and to run them out of the gym. And KFS 12 happened to be there that day filming part of practice because it's the first time we'd been to state tournament in like 20 years. So they're in there filming practice, and our starters beat the subs that quarter 50-0. And our subs were good. Our subs, that's Kenyon Wright, Randy Kahn, Zach McIntyre, kids that could play. And they just, I'd never seen our kids play that good. And the news anchor looked at me and said, man, do you guys play like this all the time? And without even blinking, I just said every day.
Every single day.
Like this is what we look like. Nobody looks that good all the time,
And that's
but the point of the story being, scouting back then was so hard to get, tape from the other side of the state. There was a lot. You had to literally, there's no way to ship it there in time. If you were going to get a tape, you had to say, hey, I'll drive and get it. I will meet you there. When we got beat in 2003, Brad Stewart, the coach at Verona, they ended up winning the state title. he drove to Bell City. He actually had his wife drive. His wife, that's a good coach's wife, drove to
That's
Bell City,
right.
got the tape from us, and then drove it back to Brad so he could have time to watch the tape of Clarkton so that they
That's
could
clutch.
have a scouting report. So that's what you used to have to do. Now you don't have to do those things. Now teams are much more familiar.
Right.
I think that's a great thing. But at the same time, it does, like you said, teams are going to have a little better scouting report on you. So I would just ask this to everybody who's out there listening right now, and I'm just curious to this question. Back in those days, there was a little bit of a loyalty in the conferences. Like, say we got beat or we were winning or whatever, Advance may not give you any tape on us. They may say, well, they're in our conference or well, they're in our district. You know, I'll give you a scouting report, but I won't give you a tape. I wonder if that still goes on today, if there's still those kind of gentlemen's agreements. Or
Right.
like if we get beat, is it acceptable for us to give the tape of Jamestown now? I just wonder, like, what is the etiquette, I guess, and the ethics with coaching?
I would say since it's so out there, I mean, nobody's ever asked me for a tape of anybody, but I just feel like you could almost get on the internet and find games of anybody. Like if somebody wants, say Risco wins off our district, and then they beat Advance, and Final Four and one that Grove wants to take of Risco, they don't have to call us. They can go to yhctv.com and
That's right.
find 5 games of
There's
Risco.
so-
And I'm sure there's
and I feel like there's
about any school there.
there's pockets of the state where that's true.
Yeah.
And especially in, like you said, Southeast Missouri, where YHCTV, they do a great job.
Right.
Other parts of the state, maybe not so much, but I agree with you. Information is just easier to come by now. The world is smaller. Twitter,
If
Facebook.
you're really holding out on somebody or you're protecting somebody in your conference, but not getting another team to tape, because, I mean, they're going to find it.
That's right.
It's too easy to get.
That's right. Let's jump to
Somebody's
class.
going to put it on Facebook Live.
That's right.
It's there.
Yeah. Let's go to class 2 here.
Yeah, for sure.
Bernie and Haytie in the finals.
Hey,
sign me up.
About the game,
Sign me
game
up.
to see.
Sign me up.
That's the one for me. Because you get to see a class of styles, disciplined kids, play hard, play right on both sides. 2 JWT approved coaches that are really good coaches. I mean, this is going to be.
Yeah, and real
If
quick,
it's played in the 80s or played in the 50s.
before we got on the phone to do this, you and I were texting each other, and you told me something about a bath bomb. I don't know if you're still in the bathtub. It sounds like you're underwater part of the time.
I've gotten out. I'm not out.
Yeah,
I'm not.
and I wasn't sure if that bath bomb was something your son Brody did. But
No, that was. It's much more delightful than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, this show's brought to you today by Bath Bombs.
this show is
With our
sponsored by
JWT
Bath
approved.
Bombs.
Yeah. If you're a little sore or you just want to relax a little bit, turn the water on as hot as it gets. Let the tub fill up. Get in there, drop you a bath bomb in, and watch that thing dissolve.
It just doesn't
A
sound right
chemical
when you say
reaction
that.
Takes place.
It just doesn't sound right when you say that.
Well, I did not name this thing. Okay, it was invented by women, I'm sure. And bath bomb sounded awesome to them. Let's just call it bath sensation.
Hey, I'm
Because it is
curious.
phenomenal.
I'm curious.
With
So,
an F.
mission accomplished. That's the only thing I can say to you. Let's go back to talking about Bernie and Haytie and get off bath bombs. Yeah,
Okay.
Sign me up for that game. I agree with you. 2 of the best coaches in the state, and I know I keep saying that, but I'm genuine. Aaron Bauer,
Right.
Brad Botch, those guys are phenomenal. 2 great coaches. I think whoever wins that has got a shot to make a deep run. In the next district over, Oran just killed Chaffee. I didn't see that one coming.
Right, and Chaffee just beat Orange. Chaffee had a really, really good year, probably the best year in school history. I don't know, because I know they had some really good teams a long time ago. But
so
they won the conference and all that stuff.
I threw this out there in the article. It's on the forum. If you go to justwintoday.com and you click on forum, you have to be a member. You can read this. But I asked this question in the forum. Is it time to start talking about Joe Shoemaker as one of the all-time great coaches in that part of the state? And here's why I say that. He took Advance to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken Orion to 2 Final Fours. He's won a state title. Joe's resume, if you put it up there, he's a guy you don't hear said a lot. He's not mentioned a lot.
Right.
But I'm telling you, what he has done at a quote-unquote baseball school.
That's what I was about to say, too.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I mean, Orion, for people that don't understand or anybody listen to other parts of the state, like, I grew up, and Oregon's going to the Final Four in baseball. It seems like every year they're just loaded with baseball players.
They actually one time held the record for the most times going to the Final Four without winning state.
Right? Yeah, and they finally won it. Back 2009 or whatever it was.
And now they have as many state titles as the basketball team.
Right, in much fewer visits.
Fewer visits, right.
And, like we said, and they're still a baseball school. Basketball, I don't think has even come close to taking baseball over.
That's right.
But they're excelling in both. And, Joe Shoemaker's done a heck of a job.
I think
he's up there.
I think the Oran Fighting Shoemakers are going to march on from that district. And whoever they catch in the next round, whether it be Bernie or Hayti, that's going to be a great game.
Another great game.
And then over in the next district, you got Thayer and Neelyville, two really good teams. That quarter of the state with Class 2, because in the next district over, you got Mansfield and Hartville, two really good teams. I mean, you've got 8 strong teams. And St. Vincent's a good team who Orion's going to play in that part of the state.
Right, they're the 1 seed in the district.
Chaffee's a good team. That is a really, really good part of the state. And when you look at the rest of Class 2, District 5, the number 1 seed is 12 wins and 13 losses. There's not one winning record in the whole district. Class 2 District 6, there's not really anything to see there. District 7, you got Milan, who's 23-2. You got Salisbury, who's a strong team traditionally. They're also having a good year. I've seen them play. They've got a decent team. But Class 2 District 8, Harrisburg, of anybody in the whole tournament, and you hate to jinx anybody, but I think they've got the winner of that district. That's a good district. You've got Fayette is the 4 seed. They're 22-3 in that district. They had a really good year. Eugene and New Bloomfield. New Bloomfield's 19-6. Their losses are all really good losses. But Harrisburg is one of the more fun teams I've seen play this year. And if anybody in Class 2, I think the winner of that district should be Harrisburg. They have the best shot at the Final Four because their path after their district is pretty weak, in my opinion.
Right. It's like we talked about Walnut Grove in Class 1.
And maybe I'm wrong, but, then you go down to District 9. You got the sleeper in that district, I think, is Iberia, Coach Nick Voss, who played for St. Elizabeth in 2004 when we beat them in the state finals. But that's a sneaky good team. So keep an eye on them. Spokane and Skyline, nice teams. The next district over is kind of weak. District 12, it's kind of early to tell. Again, I don't think that part of the state is as weak as Harrisburg's part. The difference is there's not a Harrisburg in that part of the state that you go, that's the team that's going to make it out. There are a lot of pretty good teams in districts 9 through 12. I just don't see a really good team in that part of the state. Then you shift down to the last part of the state, the northwest side. District 13, you got Lockwood or Rich Hill. District 14, Sacred Heart, 24-1. They are hands down the favorite to win a Class 2 state title. Got a couple 6'7" kids, deep bench, and they've got a kid that's a low major to mid major Division I point guard, nice player. Like I said, 24-1. They're the team to beat. Keep an eye on Wellington Napoleon. They're 17-7 in the next district over, and then Mid Buchanan's coming out of District 16. And I put a link to this on there. The Dragons, they have got the best hype videos on YouTube. They're hype videos. They've got a hype video out right now, and I think it's actually called Mid Buchanan Hype Video.
Oh man!
And where the coach is in the locker room. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of what do they call that show in the NFL where like you get to go to training?
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Yeah. I feel like that Mid Buchanan's on Hard Knocks, and they just.
Well, hey, a few years ago when they played Scott Central for the state championship or the Final Four game,
they came out with that.
Yeah, the video come out.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name, what song it was, but the coach was dancing and all of them.
Don't believe me, it's hot.
Yeah. They're still doing that.
You're
That's
welcome
cool.
for singing that. But basically, yeah, I think if they had worked a little more on maybe stopping Jeffrey Porter instead of that video,
right?
Maybe could have been a different result. Who knows? It's hard to stop those Braves in March. But I think that Mid Buchanan, all joking aside, that's a really good basketball team. I've seen them play. That's a really good basketball.
And they're the Dragons.
And that
gives them 10 points right there.
You make a Dragon want to retire, man. And so, so basically, I think Class 2. My way too early prediction. I said Sacred Heart and Harrisburg. Those two are easy choices for me. out of the other part of, like I said, there's one part of the state I don't see one team that just stands out. And
right.
Then the other part, the southeast part, I'm picking Oran right now, but
hard to go against them.
It's hard to pick against Bernie. It's hard to pick against Hayti. I think Thayer's really good. I think Hartville's really good.
I think either one of those three teams can go.
I think Neelyville, they're young. Hey, they can get hot. It's just,
and I think Neelyville's big.
Yeah, they are.
They roll out a couple 6'3", 6'4", 6'5".
They are. That's a nice team.
And they got a really smart point guard out there.
He's Patrick Morton. Right now, he's on the JWT waiting list. But I feel like his chances of being approved are really high. And so,
they are.
He's
got one vote here.
All joking aside, he's a really good coach. And anybody that gets married to one of Jim Bidwell's daughters, you can't even be allowed to marry one of Jim Bidwell's daughters unless you're a good coach, I think. And
that's right. You got to pass the coaching test.
Exactly. And so, that guy's a good coach, and that's a really good ball team. So let's switch over here to talk about a little of America's favorite game show, JWT or JLT.
Let's do it.
Where we say, is this a win or a loss? Is this something that JWT can approve, or we just count that out? No, that's not a win, that's a loss. Would the UConn women make it to the Sweet 16 in the men's basketball tournament this year, because the men's field is so garbage?
So would they make it to the Sweet 16?
Would the UConn
was that 2 wins?
They would have to get in the tournament, win their first 2 games, get out of the first weekend.
Win their first 2. Can we give them a number 1 seed?
As a 1 seed, would they make it?
As a 1 seed. As fun as this is, and I kind of, you edited this, I bounced the idea around for this JWT, JLT question. No, they wouldn't. But, hey, no, they wouldn't even win the first round. Never mind. I was going to point out the fact that they do play men every day in practice.
They do.
And I mentioned them just because they dominate the women's level, and they've got, those girls can play. They can really play. And they, like I said, they play college men in practice, so playing men would not freak them out or anything like that. But no, they wouldn't make it. It's a fun idea. I think it would be cool, but no, that not a chance.
Okay.
That's JLT.
So America, here's your scenario. You've got 1 minute left on the clock. Mizzou men's basketball is up 2, and your entire life savings is on the line, whether or not they get the ball down the floor and take care of the ball under pressure. Do you feel like you're going to come out as a win or a loss in that situation? Do you bet your life savings on it?
Not a chance. And I love Mizzou. I love the way they play there. Most of the time they're pretty good fun to watch first half team. They're fun to watch 38-minute team.
Okay.
But when it gets down to those final 2 minutes, or even in the second half of the team, if they're up by 8, 10, 12 points. You saw it against Kentucky, happened last night against Ole Miss. A team comes out, full court presses them, and they're catching the ball on the inbound line. They're getting trapped immediately. They can't pass it to the next guy. They look very elementary against full court pressure in late game situations where guys catch the ball, they won't even face up. They kind of just get in the fetal position and hope the ref bails them out with a foul.
I agree.
I'm not buying it.
Okay, so
they haven't figured it out yet. It's happened 3 or 4 games.
Who do you have more faith in, the Mizzou men's basketball team to handle pressure at the end of the game and not turn it over, or a 4th grade girls basketball team to be able to handle pressure in the first quarter of a game? Which one?
How much pressure?
I don't know.
For a 4th grade girls basketball team getting on the court,
the point
that
is they cannot
be
handle
pressure.
Do you got more faith in the Mizzou men's basketball team with pressure on them at the end of the game, or just enjoying a nice, relaxing bath bomb?
Yeah, well, I know.
That's an
easy one.
Do
you got more faith in the Mizzou men's basketball team handling pressure late in the game with a lead, or do you got more faith in Jeremiah Tillman not getting in foul trouble?
No, JLT on my boy. I don't know what his middle name is, but on JT, because Jeremiah Tillman, that guy, if he could stay out of foul trouble, he'd be playing for money next year.
He starts the game with 2.
Yeah, he would be playing for money next year. Last question on the JWT or JLT. Is it a win or a loss? Is Michael Porter Jr. going to suit up for the Tigers before the season's over?
What's the latest? The last
No,
I heard or read
I'm
about a
asking
week
you.
ago.
I'm not asking the doctors. I'm not asking Conzo Martin. I'm not asking Michael Sr. I'm asking my brother Toby. Does he suit up this year, yes or no?
I want to be all hopeful and stuff. No, it's JLT. I think there's just too much to risk. I'd love to see it. I hope it happens. Part of me thinks he really actually wants to. But I just think, I guess it would be common sense or whatever is going to come into play here, and they're not going to let him play. He's not going to. His dad's not going to let him. It's not happening.
This is what I think right here. This is just my opinion.
I'm going to be real honest with you right now. This moment came to me in a dream about a month ago.
This moment came to me in a dream.
Let's hear it.
Michael Porter Jr. will suit up for the Tigers.
Oh, let the boy watch.
And they're not going to let the boy watch. Basically, they're going to tell Reed Nico, the eighth man right now, he's going to have to watch, you know. And so basically, Michael Porter Jr. will play this year. The Tigers will make the tournament. I was really hoping they'd get in there as a 6 or 7 seed. So
they hurt themselves last night.
Opposite side of the one. They've lost 2 games in a row they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get on the other side of the bracket from a 1 seed, they are your classic Cinderella.
Oh, yeah. He comes back.
He comes back, and they're playing, say, a 3 seed in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're in the Sweet 16, which would be that's a win. That's JWT all day long for Mizzou fans. I think they're, if best case scenario, they're going in as an 8 or 9 now.
Yeah.
I think best case scenario.
The last 2 they lost, like if they pull those out and win, it's almost there's very little wrong that they could do from here on out, as long as they just continue to play decent, because they were the hottest team in the SEC.
Yeah, they were.
They could have went into Kentucky and got beat this weekend and been totally excused from it.
So
they've hurt themselves.
They've really shot themselves in the foot. Let's kind of circle back to the website here for just a minute. There's an article that I want to tip people off to. It's going to come out in the morning. We've got different writers on the website. One of our writers is the coach's wife, Kat Stratford. Of course, that's not a real name. That name's too amazing.
I hope not.
To actually belong to a human being. But Kat Stratford is one of our writers, the coach's wife. And to be honest, I got 2 different articles. We've got 3 or 4 different writers beside myself that contribute to the website. I got 2 different articles today, and when I read the first one by one of our writers we call the Bleacher Mom, just a mom of an elementary basketball player, and the stuff that she writes is really funny. She wrote something so hilarious. It's probably the funniest thing I've ever read on a website.
That does not describe many basketball parents, let alone elementary basketball parents.
Listen, this is so funny. The comment at the end of it, which is a real comment that happened in the bleachers, and then the gift that she put with it was so hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing to text her back and tell her how good it was. So I planned this to come out Friday. Well, I was going to read the other one later because it's kind of like, okay, we just had an article come out. We've got one coming out Friday. I'll let the other one come out next week. But after reading this article from the coach's wife, she kind of summed up district basketball and how it's either the best week of your life or the worst week of your life. And I'm going to say this to any coaches or players out there listening, and I'm going to put this article out tomorrow. I decided to put it out tomorrow just because I wanted to come out in the middle of district basketball week because of what she wrote. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say it's the best thing that's ever been on the site because we've had some really good things on the site over the course of a year. We've had about 180 articles and probably like 50 of these podcasts and all kinds of videos and different things. It's hard to pinpoint one thing as the best, but this is right up there. I mean, it's one of the best things. I'm going to be honest, I got a little emotional reading it, but just thinking about some of the kids that I've coached and, you know, how the district tournament is the greatest thing ever, or it because you won it, or it's like you're going, and all of a sudden your season's just over.
Yeah.
And I remember we won the state title in 2002, and the next year in 2003, we got upset in the playoffs. We won our district, got beat in the playoffs by Clarkton. And I'll never forget the day after we lost, it's kind of like, well, what time is practice? You know, just that that feeling of your whole
what do you do at 3 o'clock
is
now?
over. Yeah. And she captures that in this article it's just tremendous. And so I would say to anybody who is a fan of basketball, anybody who's ever had a kid that's played, any coach that's listening to this, any parent, it's just so good what she wrote. And I do appreciate all the writers that we have on, like I said, we got 4 or 5 different people that are contributing at this moment. And then in the past, we've had 3 or 4 other people that kind of have came and went. But, a lot of the stuff that's on the website is me and you, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes from other people. And this is right up there. One of the best things that we've ever put out on the site. So everybody be sure and go check that out tomorrow. It'll be, if you go to the website, it's under articles. It's one of the JWT articles. It'll be right there. If you have your own page, it's right there on your front page. So if you go to the website, justwintoday.com, it's going to ask you, do you want to log in or do you want to go to your page? If you have an account, you just go to your page. If you haven't ever created an account, you click log in, and then you just click one more button and you're logged in. So it's
you're in there. Click, free.
And you're in. It's free. Yeah. And then you can read this.
There's
article.
Literally a song about the entire process. It goes click, click, boom. You're in.
It's click, click, boom. And, while that was not a great song, I wouldn't call it a loss either. And so,
right, exactly. And one more thing about the articles on the site, because we've seen just today that it got a ton of traffic and people getting on and reading different things, and everybody's got opinions about them, and everybody's going back and saying whatever to so-and-so or sharing it with somebody via text message or something. Go ahead and drop a comment underneath that article, and you can get more going on about that topic. And maybe we can really get a great discussion going about something where it's not, so one-sided to where it's just what you're saying. Maybe there's other opinions like the mass exodus of the boot hill.
Well, and that
there's been a ton of comments on Facebook about that, but get them all there in that one spot where everybody can see them. We can really get a dialogue going.
Going back to what Tyler Victor asked at the beginning of the show, we talked about. Tyler asked, "Well, Coach, why did you put up a membership?" The whole point of Just Win Today, we talk about more than just basketball, but the whole point of it was just trying to be positive, trying to put out some positive thoughts, some good quotes, some good ideas, some good discussion, and we've done that. But by creating a membership to where it's free, but people have to log in. Let's say a person got on there just acting ignorant. I can just delete that person. Because we're not going to tolerate – it's not going to turn into, no offense to Bill Gunn, my friend Bill Gunn that runs mosports.com. It's not going to turn into that. We're not trying to just get clicks, and we're not just trying to get followers. We're not just trying to get a lot of traffic because I don't make
real talk
money off the site. We're just trying to spread positivity. People that are spreading good ideas, good quotes, good comments, all that good stuff. And so, to your point, if anybody wants to share, you can log in and go to the forum. You could literally be at your district game and take a picture of the scoreboard and put it on the forum. You could literally be at your district game and take a video and put it on the forum, whatever. And so, we do appreciate all those people that do contribute. We do appreciate the writers that we have. And so, with about a minute to go, I'll kind of throw it back to you. I know your season just came to an end. You got about a minute. What do you want to say to your kids, to your fans, and just kind of about your year?
Yeah, our year we were young, tough year. Didn't go the way anybody would ever hope, but I think they worked hard. It was a tough season for everybody. They got in there. We worked hard. We got a lot better throughout the season, and I thought with limited numbers and bodies and just experience, our guys try to compete every night. So that's something to be proud of. I think it's a good step for us again this year.
Absolutely, and I got to see your kids play 2 or 3 times. I just enjoyed them. They're great kids, and
exactly.
Hats off to you. You did a great job. Your kids are great kids. Everybody from your cheerleaders to your scorekeeper to Bill Hoffman, your principal, to your superintendent, everybody down the line should be proud of those kids. And so, having said that, we'll sign off here. Thank everybody for joining in, and check out the website, justwintoday.com. Appreciate everybody being with us tonight.